In this episode, let's revisit some of the live shows, surprises, big news and more that marked 2024 for fans of male SEIYUU artists and 2D groups. Let's kick off this episode of SEIYUU Lounge. Welcome to SEIYUU Lounge. I am your host Vanessa, and today's topic is 2024 in review, the big live shows, concept series, surprises and more. This is another episode in this series dedicated to covering the big happenings in 2024 among male SEIYUU artists and 2D groups. Please know that this is by no means an exhaustive episode, so I will be covering some of the biggest happenings, not all. If I missed anything or you feel like there are some happenings worth putting the spotlight on, share those in the comments on YouTube and Spotify. The big surprises of 2024. Gran Rodeo celebrated its 20th anniversary and left Lantis. So in 2024, Gran Rodeo celebrated its 20th anniversary. And to celebrate it, the band decided to do a couple of unexpected things. First off, Iizuka and Kisho released solo albums and held solo live shows. The band released the single JR Story, then they embarked on a live tour titled Gran Rodeo Live Tour 2024-2025 Great Road Story, but the biggest change here was that the band ended its contract with Lantis. Yes, you have heard it right. Earlier in 2024, the band that has been signed to Lantis since its inception actually decided to leave the music label and start anew. This arrived as a massive change, as it was through Lantis that the band ended up propelled to stardom as one of the best anisong bands in Japan. Will this change of music labels mean that the band will be focusing less on performing songs for anime series? Will this not change a thing? Only time will tell, but times are exciting for Gran Rodeo's fans. A number 1 on Oricon's charts. History was made again. While it has been increasingly rarer and more difficult to find 2D groups reaching the higher steps on Oricon's charts, there's a franchise that usually flirts with those. I'm talking about the Ensemble Stars franchise, of course. Nightsea's Trip Volume 14 sold a whopping 50,000 copies, grabbing that number 1 spot after a flawless week of daily number 1s on the chart. This was impressive. The concept series. Takuma Terashima with Elements. So 2024 wasn't ripe with conceptual CDs or single series. Still, Takuma Terashima tried his hand on releasing a conceptual album. Elements is his first concept CD, a work that expresses the dual aspects of music and story under the unique concept of the 5 elements: fire, water, earth, wind, and light. In this album there is Encounter with Samael, an original story written by Terashima himself. The story portrays Terashima setting off on a tour, having taken on the mission of revitalizing the world through the power of music after encountering the entity known as Samael. This is another example of storytelling in conceptual albums, a bit in line with what Wataru Hatano pulled off in 2023 with the EP Dawn. Collaborations. Yumu Uchida's vs. Yuma. After celebrating his 5th anniversary as a solo artist with a special live show earlier in the year, Yumu Uchida announced the kickoff of a unique project. Yumu Uchida's collab project vs. Yuma started with the release of the digital single and the project's theme song, Chemistry, and the goal is to feature a series of collabs with other artists. The first collaboration was with the fellow SEIYUU artist and sister Maya Uchida. The siblings released the joint single Carnival, Big Love, and soon after held a live show together. Yumu Uchida is the first SEIYUU artist to create such a collaboration project. The big tours and live shows. Mamoru Miyano Premium Symphonic Concert 2024 Authentica. This is one of the best ideas ever, to take a SEIYUU artist's music and rearrange it for an orchestral live show. Mamoru Miyano made history yet again among male seiyuu artists by being the first one to hold an orchestral live concert. In this show, fans had the opportunity to listen to orchestral rearrangements of How Close You Are, Identity, Moonlight, Refrain, Everlove, between many others. Here's to hoping this begins a new trend among male seiyuu artists to bring their songs to stage with an orchestra supporting them. Soma Saito's live tour non-fictions. Soma Saito may have not had the success many anticipated with the third full-length album Fictions, but his supporting live tour, Non-Fictions, which started in October 2024, was extremely well received, selling out all venues. Fans were craving a live show, as the last one had been 2 years ago, and got a different experience this time around, with Soma Saito opting for smaller live venues to bring out the band and indie rock band feel he loves. Yumu Uchida's 5th anniversary live. Before he kicked off his Vs. Yuma collaboration project, Yumu Uchida celebrated his 5th anniversary as a solo artist with a special live show titled Yumu Uchida 5th Anniversary Live Why? The live show was held at the iconic Nippon Budokan in Tokyo, venue in which very few male seiyuu artists have performed before. Junichi Toki, birthday and 5th anniversary live. Another seiyuu celebrating his 5th anniversary as an artist was Shunichi Toki. The talented seiyuu hopped on stage in May, tying it up with his birthday. During the live show, which featured day and night sessions, Toki went through his jazzy and funky repertoire while focusing a bit more on the songs from the, back then, recently released CDs Science and Another Birthday. Downlights. Trado disbanded with the release of their first album. Bittersweet news for fans of the K-pop inspired duo Trado. Daisuke Ono and Takayuki Kondo announced the release of their first album, What's Going On. The album compiled all the songs the duo released until their disbandment, as well as the new song What's Going On, a collaboration with composer Shinosuke, best known for his work with Trigger from the Idolish 7 franchise. Fans also could find in the CD solo songs as well as rearrangements, bidding fans goodbye with a genuinely complete and heartwarming package. Soma Saito's third album, Fictions, broke a historical streak of top 10 releases. So this is one of the oddest news in 2024 if you're closely following male seiyuu artists. Singer-songwriter Soma Saito, who, up until the release of Fictions, had all his CDs within Oricon's top 10, actually saw that streak broken. Fictions had a really poor reception by fans, selling way below his usual numbers, which usually sit at 10,000 copies in the first week. The album barely sold 5,000 copies during its first week and was close to being out of the top 20. Perhaps the fact that the CD wasn't dark, or the fact that it didn't have a concept and story spread out across multiple songs may have turned off some fans. Or maybe the fact that Saito waited 2 years to release a follow-up to Wing Yang without releasing any music in between factored in this poor reception. Regardless of what was the reason, it feels weird to see a Soma Saito album out of the regular top 10 on Oricon. And with this, you and I wrap up this episode of SEIYUU Lounge. Let's head over to the outro. "2024 was quite eventful. Live shows were plenty and pretty awesome. There were many seiyuu artists celebrating milestones, others reaching impressive milestones while others said goodbye. Growth, quality and uniqueness marked this year with seiyuu artists trying new things, straying away from their trademark sound, creating unique projects, holding live shows with an orchestra in the background and even changing music labels. If you look back, 2024 was actually pretty cool. Even if we didn't have as much variety in music releases, or many seiyuu artists and 2D group or 2D projects were actually quieter than usual. But enough about what I think. It's time to know what you think. Now tell me, What was the news about male SEIYUU artists or 2D groups that really made you incredibly excited? Let me know in the comments on YouTube. And remember, leave your comments as complex or as simple as they may be, and you can be featured on upcoming episodes of SEIYUU Lounge. If you enjoyed this episode and don't want to miss the THTFHQ's weekly male SEIYUU and music-related content, hit the subscribe button. If you are listening to this episode on a podcast listening platform, please consider following the podcast and leaving a review. Leaving a review is really simple and helps other people find the podcast and fall in love with male SEIYUU artists and 2D groups. I'll return next week with another episode of SEIYUU Lounge. Thank you for listening and see you guys around.